Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial of Python. Today we are going to learn about static methods. So let's get started, and we have learned about normal method and how to access a function. All these things we have learned in the previous video tutorial. So if you like, you can go in and watch those. And here today we are going to learn about static method and how you can create a static method and how that can be accessed. So all of those things we can learn today. So let's get started. Unlike normal method, static method is defined like this. So I'm in my employee class. Here I'm going to static, of course, static method also tied with the class. So to create a static method, all we have to do is just put an at symbol and then type static method, or you can do this way, create a normal method. Okay, so create employee and the name of the employee name. So this, I just added one parameter and then print employee name. So I created a normal method. So I have self here to access the class related variables. If I want, you can access name and all instance related variables you can access like this, name or age. So those things you can access using the self keyword, and self keyword is automatically populated when I create this method. And I have to convert this method as a static method. So all I have to do is just put at the rate and static method. So normal method are tied with an instance. So for you to access a normal method, you have to create an instance of the class. Then using the instance, you can access the method. But static method is accessing using the class name. So here employee is the class name. So we can see that in action. So this is how you should create a static method. Just put an at symbol and static method. That's how it is declared. So I'm going to print the employee name. So if I have to access the same method in my main function, if I use employee dot create employee will automatically populate, because in Python, even if you use the instance name, this will populate. But if I add one parameter to it, like the name is Samuel, and if I run it, I will get an error, because when it converts to a static method, this self keyword is not valid. So you can see that when I put self keyword and put name, put dot, it's saying name here, but this is not same like how it can be used. So you don't use self for a static method and you don't get any benefit of self. So if I run it, still I will get an error, because here I am not passing the argument self, because when you convert a method as a static method, then this self will be considered as a normal parameter. So that if I pass anything like this, Alex, I added Alex as the parameter for self, and if I run it, I will get error, because string object has no attribute name, because I'm trying to access the name parameter from it, right? So self is, now you can understand, self is converted as a normal parameter now. So you don't have to use self, you have to remove it, because in static method you don't get the benefit of self, and instead you can just use name. Oh, okay, sorry, I just added two parameter, but I haven't removed it, so I will remove it now. And now if I run it, I don't get error. Instead it will print the name, employee name, which I am passing here. So if I run it, you can see that Samuel got printed. Samuel is the parameter I added. If I change it to Samuel Alex, if I run it, it will print. Because whenever you use a static method, then self you can't use, but in Python you can still access it using the instance name, but it is not the correct method. The correct method is this. Use this dot create employee and then Alex Sam. So this is not the correct method. This is completely wrong. So you don't use it this way. Instead, you can access the static method using the class name. Here our class name is employee, and using employee the class name, I can access it. So if I execute now, you can see Alex Sam is printed here. But in Python you can still access it using object, but there are some methodologies are there which will say you don't use instance names to access a static variable. Static variable can be accessed only using the class name. If you go for other languages like C# or some other language, then you can't even access static method using instance. But in Python there is no restriction like that. It will let you access it, but that is not the right way, because in that case I have to create that method without the self. Even in static method you don't use self, because self has some meaning and you don't get those benefits. So I hope you understood this video tutorial. Give me a comment if you have any questions, and also I can just summarize what we have learned. So we have learned static method and how to declare a static method, and we don't use self for static method, as well as you can access static method using the employee class. So that is all for this video tutorial. Let's see in the upcoming video tutorial. Thank you guys.